What's good, YouTube? I think it's well past time we got our fall tier list out there for all the decks in Edison format. I've seen some other people uploading some tier lists, and, as always, the people are, of course, yearning to hear my voice, so we got to get our thoughts out there into the public sphere ASAP. I think we've actually got the same list of decks. This might be the first time we've carried over just, like, the same decks, but it doesn't feel like there's been a whole lot of developments in terms of just brand new decks into Edison format. Like, there's been some innovations, but it's mostly just been like the same decks with just different stuff. You know what I'm saying there. But yeah, I think we don't need to explain our tier system because that's just been the same for these last few. I think we got a pretty good set of 6 tiers here that are pretty self-explanatory. So without further ado, let's get into it. Maybe we'll switch it up today and we'll do like reverse order because I feel like I'm always starting at the top with fairies and Amaryllis. So let's start at the bottom with Yep 2. This is a funny deck. I've actually seen a fair deal of innovation with this one lately, especially on my What Are They Cooking series. People are always submitting versions of this. None of them have ever looked that impressive, but none of them have ever looked that bad either. I'm not really sure. I feel like the deck's kind of mid when I played it anyway. But, there's like there's definitely room for improvement potentially. I mean, it does cool stuff. Like the DDV Dark Iron Dragon stuff is strong. Just like the dark stuff in general. Escape from the Dark Dimension, kind of an underrated card. So I don't know. Where do we want to put this? I forget where I put it last time. It would be helpful if I could actually consult where I put things last time, but I don't really want to be basing my ratings off of that. I kind of want to have like a fresh perspective. I'm feeling like what is this going to be? Like top of tier 1, and then like tier 1.5 to 2. Maybe it's like, it would be pretty friendly, I think, to put this at the bottom of mid. But maybe it actually is that good because I've played against it a couple times and it never feels like an easy matchup or anything. There's always like scary stuff. I don't know. I feel like it might be a reach to put it top, but maybe I will. Maybe it'll be like bottom of mid, but I might move it down here because we'll see how the list pans out. Because I feel like most of the decks that go in the mid tier are going to be things that I would think would be better than this. It's just a matter of like how much better. And we might be getting to that now actually with the Kurz deck. So yeah, I think my honest feeling is that I've been kind of sleeping on this deck, maybe a little bit in my previous tier lists. Maybe not like sleeping on, maybe that's a little bit too generous, but I feel like I've been putting it just a tad too low. The deck is really not that bad. Like, it's probably better than this. It's just a question of whether these would be top of rogue or bottom of mid. Maybe I'm going to say I was a little bit too low on them earlier and put them just like bottom of mid. That could be fair. Both of these decks I feel like do a fair deal of good stuff. I mean, they genuinely have some decent matchups. And Kurz, I mean, yeah, you struggle against Vayu and zombies, which is kind of why I put it so low. But also, you are quite solid into stuff like Blackwings and Frogs. I feel like the matchup is always decent. And then the Dark deck, like I said, it has some decent things going for it as well. Being able to, spam DDV the way that it does. So maybe I can put them bottom of mid. I guess, as always, this will be subject to change. Moving on, maybe if I feel like everything I'm putting in mid is higher, maybe I'll move them down. But I feel like I was maybe a little bit too hard on these two, just because they are kind of like thought of as wacky rogue decks, but they're not really as bad as other wacky rogue decks. They might be a step above. I don't know. It's kind of like, maybe I need a 7th tier, actually. I could add one right now, actually. Let's do that. Let's do that. What are we gonna call this? Like middle of middle? I don't know. We'll just move these two right here, and we'll name this. I didn't know what to call it. I just called it has potential ? Yeah, whatever. We're just gonna leave these two in this zone, and if I feel like something else belongs there, maybe that's where I'll put that. So what are we moving on to? Reptilianne. Man, we got all the jank ones at the bottom, actually. So now we're just starting off with a bunch of whack stuff. There's a lot of different versions of this deck out here, honestly. A lot of them feel decent. None of them feel great. I think it actually kind of belongs in the same tier, if I'm being real. I'm just going to put it between these two. Yeah, I think that's maybe fine. Yeah, maybe these should just be the rogue tier, actually. No, I don't know. We committed to 7 tiers. Let's just leave it with 7 tiers for now. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Reptilian deck, Vasky's a very good boss monster, which is probably like the best thing you got going for you. I mean, the turtle is genuinely really a solid card. It's like a 2K defender that's also a Sangan, basically. Doesn't miss timing either. You got the trap card, which is a really solid like Icarus attack, but sometimes it's even better than Icarus attack because if you use it with Gardna, you get a straight +1. So yeah, there's a lot of decent things going on in here. It's not a bad like Dandelion deck. So yeah, I think it's a solid one. Probably definitely between these two. The Neo-Spacian one is well, we did actually. Oh, hold on, we gotta show the deck list. What am I doing? What am I doing? We gotta have those deck lists. We always got those deck lists, so you guys know what's up here. I think this is. Is this the exact list that I? Oh, this is the one I topped BCS with. Actually, I think it's not the exact list that I'm currently playing. It's like 1 card different or something though, or maybe 2 cards different. What is the? I think I was on like a D prison instead of a mind control or something. It's basically the same list. It's functionally it's the same list. So we did actually get a result with this. So I don't know. I put it in mid last time. I feel like maybe it'll be higher in mid, but it's not really going up another tier for me. I don't feel like it's competing with the top tiers or anything in terms of overall power. I mean, like the difference ain't that big. If you're playing Neo-Spacians, I always feel like this deck is solid. Especially with the Dark Creator variant. I definitely feel like the deck is good and all, but, you know, not like top or anything. So it's probably just going to go in mid. Maybe I will adjust it a little bit higher in mid, because I think previously I was putting it like bottom of mid because I had only ever bubbled with it. But now we've got a couple bubbles and one third place finish at BCS, so maybe we can justify putting it a little higher. But yeah, I think Neo-Spacian deck's pretty good, you know. You got consistent good turn 1 play with the Armageddon Knight, searching Grand Mole. Searching Grand Mole is obviously crazy. You got the awesome late game stuff with the Dark Creators, just like probably one of the best dad decks out there. You got Junk Synchron plays. There's a lot going for it. I think it's a solid build, so I'm going to put it in mid. We'll see where it pans out relative to other things in mid as we go on with the list, but yeah, I think the deck is solid. Dark Gaia, this deck still hasn't done anything, so yeah, this is one of many versions that exist, none of which have really done anything. The hero version is just like a bad hero deck. This version is just like a bad Hamster Raikou deck. I don't know. I really wish. I'm a big Dark Gaia rock fan and stuff, but it's just, I don't know. It's probably not full on bad. What's going to be down in bad, actually? Yeah, maybe it's just, it's rogue, but it might even be like bottom of rogue. I think it's pretty trash, honestly. I really wish it weren't. I love Dark Gaia so much, but I just cannot justify putting it. It just like has not done anything, so I just don't really know. Like I said, big Dark Gaia fan. It's just not putting up those results. So what can I say? What can I say? What do we got next? Cat. I think this deck is pretty majorly slept on, actually. I think this deck is just straight up like solid. I think it's just, it's at least mid. Well, I feel like mid is too unfriendly of a name for this tier. You know what I'm saying? It's like the 3rd highest tier. This is like a tier 2 kind of tier. Maybe let's just call it tier 2 then, or something. Yeah, mid just feels, maybe this is mid, or maybe this is rogue and this is mid. Mid just has such a bad connotation to it, though. I don't know. It just, like, feels like we're denigrating, but I mean, maybe it just means, like, mid. Yeah. Whatever. I'm not messing with the tiers anymore. Let's just, where do I think Cat stacks up relative to Neo-Spacian? I actually think they're about the same. I think they're really close. I think they're both pretty solid options. I think they're both, yeah, I mean, just like a solid kind of tier 2 strategy. Who do we want to give the edge to? It is really hard, actually. I've played both of these decks a lot, and I think they're around the same level. I think they're both some of my favorite decks of the whole format are decks like this. I don't really know, because we topped with Moja Cat. which was a cat build, and we topped Spacians twice, technically, although the other one was a different kind of build. But there's a lot of different... You got to keep in mind, the Neo-Spacian deck is not just this deck, either. There's, like, other versions. There's, there's Simorg's versions. There's, with, like, the Icarus attack and deck dev. There's friggin' Winged Beast. Yeah, that's that version, actually. There's Diva Hero. There's, like, the water stuff. There's, like, a lot of different ways that I've tried approaching the Neo-Spacian deck. I did, like, a whole series on it. And then the cat deck is also not just this, although I think this is, in both cases, I think we're trying to represent the best version. But there's kind of a lot of decks that are encompassed under it. So being as generous as possible, I think they're both somewhere in mid. I don't know where cat... They're, like, really close for me, honestly. I would say... If I had to pick one to play, it might be the Spacian one, but maybe I've just had a little bit more practice playing that one. I feel like the cat one can be really strong, too. I feel like they both got a good matchup spread. I'm just going to leave them next to each other and say about the same. If I change my mind later, I guess I'll change my mind later, but I think they're both pretty decent. Next up, we have a deck that is decidedly not decent, which is Monster Mash. Unfortunate. This deck still... Whoa. Where's Monster Mash? Why do I have Macro Stun in here? No, that deck's not even notable enough to make the tier list anymore. Yeah, there's like, once again, there's like a million Monster Mash builds. This is just one, which is the all-time, the goated Monster Mash build, the Montage Dragon one that Zooks had made. One of my favorites. Unfortunately, it is trash. It is just, yeah, it's garbage. It is. Yeah, playing spell traps, it turns out, is pretty good in a game that is composed of spell cards, trap cards, and monster cards. You don't want to just be playing monster cards. I mean, you can attempt it, but it's not going to go well in a format like Edison. You got to have those. It's just such a disadvantage to not have any spell traps whatsoever. You lose to all kinds of random stuff. You have bad matchups. You have just abysmal side deck cards that will obliterate you. So yeah, unfortunately, playing Monster Bash just feels like such an impossible uphill battle. Although it did get first place at that Italian Ultimate Time Wizard tournament. I have no clue how, but it did. You know what? We got to move it up a tier for that, actually. That's like a really good result. We can't overlook that, can we? We simply cannot. It did get a real pretty high tier W there. I didn't see the details of what happened or how it won, but that, it was Italy, actually. Maybe it was Italy and it was an in-person event, so maybe they just stacked I'm just kidding. This is joke. We do not mean that. We do not mean that. All right, I'm sure it won perfectly legitimately. However, the deck is still really shit, so I'm still putting it down in bad. But, I won't put it in the very bottom tier, I guess, because, hey, that's something. That is something. What do we got? Gadgets. I'm kind of wondering if we're going to have anything to put in the very bottom tier, actually. Maybe I, exercised all of the very bottom tier decks from the list. I mean, there's got to be better gadget decks than this. If there are, they're, impossible to find, though, because you can't download any gadget lists, because no gadget list ever tops anything, ever. So the only ones you could find are, 10 years old. That's probably how it ended up here. They just suck, right? They suck, and they lose to side deck card. They're, Monster Mash tier, actually. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we might get rid of the worst tier. I can't see anything that's going down here. Did we just, are we going to just delete a tier after we added a tier? Well, it's too late. We might as well do it now. Here, we'll make this bad and make this the worst. We're just, on the fly, editing the tier. We're just shuffling things around and renaming them, but we haven't fundamentally changed anything about the tier list. Isn't that just fantastic? Isn't that great planning by me? Yeah, I think this looks... Monster Mash might have to be... Do I move it up? No, it's still garbage, right? Maybe I actually get rid of 2 tiers, and we just have a bad tier. What do we think about just having 5 tiers? Just do it like this. Just call this trash. And then delete this. We are really cooking with this. Hold on, let's fix the color scheme while we're at it, folks. Just hold for a second. There we go. Okay, all is well. Yeah, I really can't think of anything I would put below the likes of Gadget and Monster Mash, so honestly, I think this might be the best way to go. Probably, we used to have stuff like Gravekeepers and Macro Stun, which maybe would have been in a tier below, but then I got rid of them because they're so, irrelevant that it's not even worth putting them on the tier list. But yeah, moving on. We can finally get to the next deck here, which is Chaos Fairy. People have been experimenting with this a fair deal recently. I've seen, it's like a version that got 19th at Nationals or something. It was like more Lightsworn focused, but not like full Christia Sworn, just like, you know, some more milling and then more end rises and stuff, which I thought was a cool take. Where did we put this last? I think we pulled it the whole ass way up here. I'm probably not changing how I feel about that. I think it's the best way to play fairies. So, I mean, yeah, I think this deck's just really strong. I don't know. I prefer my version, obviously. Wait. I think this is one card off of my version. What did we do? We, like, sided MST and put a Grand Mole in, and then that's the actual build, so sorry about that. But yeah, I think as fairy decks go, it's really strong. I think it's like the best sort of Dimmalk, Fader, Caius. I think the whole Dimmalk, Fader, Caius thing I think is actually kind of underrated, and I think this deck does it very well. I think it's got a lot going for it. I think obviously the fairy deck is just inherently, it's got a crazy engine, and I think this is the best package for it. So I do think this deck should be pretty high up there. People, like I said, have been experimenting lately. I've liked some of it. I have disliked some of it. I don't know. People doing cool stuff with what's that card called? Miraculous Descent and stuff like that. So I think Chaos Fairy is a solid version. I think it is. I think it's a very solid choice. I think it's a very solid deck. I think of the Christia decks, it's probably the best one in my opinion. That might just be hype. I don't know. Me hyping up my own list here, possible. But I don't know. I've pretty consistently just favored Chaos Fairy over the other fairy builds at this point. I kind of was a little bit more tentative about it until like we topped Ribbit Rulers, and at that point it's just like I'm doubling down on my Chaos Fairy love. So we're putting it the whole way up here. Probably pretty high in here, honestly. I'm probably gonna. I don't remember where I put it exactly last time relative to the other decks in this tier, but I think I put it reasonably high, and it's probably gonna remain unchanged. So yeah, moving on. What do we got? Another Christia deck, but you know, like I said, not my fave compared to Chaos Fairy. However, this is a kind of different. It's Christia Sworn. This deck's done all right lately. I don't know. It's just like fine. It's here. We'll just put it there. Is it even there? I don't know. I feel like the Lightsworn hype has kind of died down, and now I'm back to my sort of previous hating on Lightsworn. Maybe it's the whole way down here, actually. Yeah, I'm just gonna not. Hold on. What's the other Lightsworn deck? Let's go find that one too. So it's this is the Christia list. Here's the more standard kind of Lightsworn. This is actually a Glorious Illusion version. Whatever, you know. There's a few different ways of building Lightsworn. I'm just putting them both down here, though. I think they're just not that great, honestly. I think Lightsworn is not the way, and it hasn't been doing a lot lately, I don't think. Dimitri almost topped with like a crazy version with Shield Warrior and stuff, but yeah, that didn't end up happening. I don't know. I've never been a fan of Lightsworn. I felt like it's just like a little bit too RNG for my tastes, and I don't know, it's like not been doing as well as it was in the first half of the year, I think. So we're gonna move it down a tier. I don't think it's. Did I put it up here last time? I might have put it like more just up here or something, but yeah, Lightsworn can go just down to tier 2. You're kind of eh. So who's next? Gemini. Speaking of things getting moved down, I think we got to be clear-eyed about the fact that Gemini ain't done jack diddly nonsense in this entire format, possibly ever. So like whole way down here or something, you're like Kurz tier or something. Maybe even, I don't know. I think the matchup spread's kind of different, but like same power level sort of. We'll put it there. Maybe we'll just put it above Kurz so the Gemini haters don't go too crazy on, or the Gemini lovers don't go too crazy hating on me. But yeah, I mean Gemini is just, it's just not it. I guess I don't know. It's crazy sometimes, but it's not crazy enough to really have much of an impact on the format in my eyes. So, yeah, whatever. Gemini, eh. Gladiator Beast. Oh, my favorite list in the whole format. We've got, okay, apparently we're using Spiral's version with the test apes, but obviously this is not the standard. The standard would just be playing, I guess, not playing Hero Signal, playing more trap cards or something, whatever, you know, playing Triple Book of Moon. We all know what Gladiator Beast is like. They've been playing the stupid Cope deck for 15 years. Honestly, like, we put it up in like tier 2 last time because it was like a Gladiator Beast hype moment. It It was like they were having the time of their lives in June or something. But honestly, did that really last? No, it did not. It can go down in freaking rogue tier. Yeah. Gladiator Beast. I mean, they will continue to cope because they always have. People were playing Glad Beast in like 2014 still, so it really shouldn't surprise us they're playing it in Edison format in 2024, but deck not too good. Deck's honestly, yeah, just not too good. Not too good. What can I say? I'm a hater. I've always been a hater. Maybe I'm putting this so low because I'm a hater, but I just gotta embrace it, you know? I gotta give in to my rage at Gladiator Beast players. So next up, we're getting into some real good tier 1 stuff. We got Blackwing. It just looks the same as always, pretty much. I guess people have been playing some heavier draw trap versions lately, but whatever, you know, we're just looking at 2 legacy build with the standard everything Blackwing stuff, whatever. Where does Blackwings go? For me, that's tough. Usually I put it top of this tier. I'll probably just put it top of this tier again. I think we're only going to have like 2 decks in this red tier, which you might know what they are, but yeah, I mean, Blackwings are really good, obviously. Whirlwind's super unfair. Their whole archetype's kind of dumb and unfair, whatever. It's probably like if we're just like ranking decks for new players, it'd probably be like top of top because it's like super easy too. But I do think there are going to be a couple decks above it, but the deck is insanely strong. This deck is insanely unfair a lot of the time, so definitely one of the top decks of Edison format for sure. Frogs. Well, we got that new the Fishborg frog list everyone's been playing lately up here on the screen. I think this is the James Arc version, or his buddy played it, but he like co-created this build that we have on the screen. So it's we got like triple dupes, and we've got the Des Frog just like maxed out on all the different frog options, and then you got the double Fishborg, and you got stuff like Avarisses and Salvages to give yourself those +1s to use with all your discard fodder, and of course you're playing Monarchs still because it is a frog deck. So this deck is kind of taken over as the new frog deck of the time. I think I'm actually going to bump Frogs the whole way up to number 1 on the list. This deck has just been killing it lately. I think Snack did some great analysis on how like Frogs is the preferred deck of good players. It's kind of like Blackwings is the preferred deck of casuals, but Frogs is like the preferred deck of people who are good at the format. And I think there's a good reason for that. I think it is the best deck right now, honestly. I really do think that. I think that the innovation with Fishborg, I think people were kind of skeptical of it at first, but it has proven itself to be very powerful. I think there's been a fair deal of prominent results for the Fishborg deck. So yeah, I think Frogs are just... We put them super high last time. We're only really moving them up 1 slot, but I think whole way at the top for Frogs. I think Frogs has proven to be the deck of the format right now. Probably... Maybe Substitute needs to be the new symbol of the format instead of Caius. I mean, the deck still plays Caius. We should probably keep Caius, but... Yeah, Frogs, I think, best deck. That's my take, so... Yeah, let me know if you're a Frog hater and you want to disagree in the comments, feel free, but that's where we're putting them. Next up, we have Norleras. There's like, most people just play this Vayu thing. Most people just don't play it, honestly. I think Neo-Spacian is unironically just a much better Dark Creator deck than this thing. I don't even think the Norleras stuff is worth it on it. I feel like Dark Creator is a way better payoff to this kind of thing. Where are we putting this? I think it's pretty garbage. I think like whole way down, like here maybe. Maybe even down here. I think it's just trash, actually. I'm sorry, Pizza, if you're watching, but I don't know. I just don't think this deck is... I feel like you're playing 6 bricks for this hand rip meme thing, which really shouldn't even be there. It should just be like a Dark Creator Vayu pile or something. It would be a lot better if you did that. I just do not think that this is the way. And no one plays the dragon version anymore either. So yeah, I don't know. Deck hasn't really done much in the past year-ish or so, and it's just I've never thought it's good. So I'm putting it the whole way down in trash. I think this is lower than I put it before, but I really genuinely feel this deck is garbage. What do we got next? Dragons. It's like okay, you know, it's fine. It's a Raikou hamster deck. How bad could it really be? You know, Red Med, Future Fusion, that stuff, it's all good. What do we think? What do we think? Tier 2 somewhere. Probably below Lightsworn, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't know, there's such a disparity between seeing Future Fusion and not seeing Future Fusion, I feel like that's kind of annoying. But I do think it's definitely worthy of Tier 2. Yeah, not a whole lot of crazy results for this deck lately, or even this year. I think maybe like one top or something that I know of in terms of major events. I obviously there's like a billion events that I can't keep track of, so don't flood the comment section of telling me where stuff topped that I didn't think about. But dragons are just like, they're all right, you know, they're nothing crazy, but I think they're solid enough to be in tier 2, of course. What do we got? Machina. We're probably going to be moving this up relative to where I had it, huh? Where's it? What is this build, actually? This is just like the most Raikou hamsterified thing I've ever seen. Whatever. We all know what the Machina... There's like a lot of ways to build it. We all know what its deal is. You're playing a control deck with Avarice, Raikou, Hamster, and then Machina Fortress. And you're just spam summoning Machina Fortress. And as strategies go, spam summoning Machina Fortress is pretty good. It's actually... Yeah, I think it's actually kind of... This deck has been slept on in the past for a while. I think it's actually pretty solid. I might go... I might straight up just put tier 1, actually. Or not, yeah, what is this? Like tier 1.2 or something. There's kind of a range in this good tier. It's a little bit... Maybe I should just label them by number. But I don't like the way other people number them. It feels weird. Yeah, I think straight up in this tier, though, I think Machina is just really good. I think it's just really good. I think it's like the best Avarice deck. Maybe if Blackwings weren't a thing, Quickdraw would be the best Avarice deck. But they are, so Machina, I think, pans out to be the best one. I mean, their core engine is just so strong. Gear Frame is so strong. Fortress is so strong. So, yeah, Cyber Dragon and stuff does suck, but, you know, you can play around it and stuff. It's alright. So I think the Machina deck's got a lot going for it. I think it's solid. I think it's worthy of being the whole way up here, actually. What do we got next? Flamvell? That deck is not worthy of being up there. This deck is just like a 2010 meme. It's not even... No one even plays it. It's just trash, honestly. No one plays it. It doesn't top. Do we really... There's always, like, people coping on Flamvells in the comments of this video. It's like, can you just go play Flamvells then and, like, top an event one time so I can move it up? Because it's just... You know, I love Flamvell. Like, it's genuinely, like Dark Gaia and Monster Mash. I do love it. But it just doesn't do anything, so I don't know. I can't really put it higher, and it's kind of just disappeared from the format, basically, like, completely. I wish it was doing more. I wish it was better, but I just not feeling it. I mean, maybe, hold on. We can put it up here. Because it probably is better than this garbage down here, honestly. Like, Norleras, Monster Mash, all this just feels like complete trash. You're at least playing like a Raikou Kai's deck with Flamvell. So, alright. We'll give it Rogue. Are you happy? We gave it Rogue. Okay, next up, what do we got? Dragon Turbo. I don't know, did Ghost Rider, like, retire from playing this or something? I just feel like it hasn't done anything lately. There's been a pretty underrated, like, under-discussed fall-off of Dragon Turbo in terms of its presence in this format. I just, like, have not been seeing it. I haven't been seeing it top. I haven't been seeing it in general. What's been going on with Dragon Turbo? Did people just, like... Is there a reason? Because I feel like Frogs being so popular, you would think more people would be playing Dragon Turbo. It feels like they hardly do. I don't know. We'll give it right here. This is a pretty big drop, actually, relative to where I had it at the beginning of the year. I was, like, putting it up here and stuff. But I think a whole way down below Blackwings at this point. I don't know. I've just not been feeling it lately. Not been seeing it. Not been feeling its presence in the metagame. Not been seeing it rack up results either relative to before. So I guess we kind of got to put it lower, down below Blackwings. Quickdraw. This is a deck that I feel is underrated. But, you know, it does get hard gate kept by some stuff. So you can only put it so high. I will put it... What do we think? Top of tier 2? I think it is really quite underrated. It just has one, like, glaring flaw, which is, like, Blackwings and DDV beat up on them a fair deal. But I think the deck is otherwise pretty versatile and pretty strong. Well, I forget where I put this before, actually, but I think we can put it whole way, like, near the top of tier 2. I think it's pretty much better than all this stuff down here, so... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe give Quickdraw a try if you're feeling like you aren't seeing too much Blackwings. You're seeing more Frog stuff lately, because I think Quickdraw is pretty decent. And next up we've got Vayu Turbo. Yeah, this is pretty definitively been like the deck of the year, has it not? Been racking up more results than like anything else. So yeah, I mean it's just like the definitive good stuff pile of the format. You know, you got all the dark things, you got the Raiko Kais, you got the milling with the Vayu stuff, you got like just all Dad, Sork, Burial, Return, Braincon, Allure, you know, trap cards. It's just all the good cards in Edison format rolled into one pile of dark stuff. So yeah, Vayu Turbo's been kicking some ass and taking some names this year, so it absolutely has to be near the top. I think previously we had it number 1, but like I said, we are going to be putting Frogs number 1 right now. I feel like Frogs are the best deck. But second place is definitively going to be going to Vayu Turbo. Zombies are super slept on, like, or they were recently. I don't know. I think people seriously underrate Zombies. I think it is a definitive, like, top tier threat. Do I even put it above Dragon Turbo? Or do I put it right here? It's like either here or here for me. I don't know. How do I feel about Zombies relative to Dragon Turbo? Maybe we'll give Dragon Turbo a little credit and put Zombies here, but I think Zombies are really quite powerful. I mean, we're giving them like top 5 decks in the format here, so I guess maybe that's good enough. We can just like give Dragon Turbo some benefit of the doubt rather than just like putting it too low because of like recency bias or whatever. But I still think Zombies are an insanely powerful choice. I mean, Goblin Zombie on the field, Summon Diva is just a crazy play. You've got Dad Return in here. You've got just a lot of the good cards of the format. You're a really solid Caius deck. Probably one of the most powerful combo OTK type of decks in the whole format. So Zombies are very gas. I love Zombies. I think they're great. I think they're going up here. Diva Hero is just like a little worse than Zombies. Just like they're just slightly worse Zombies in my mind. So I think we'll just put them right next to Zombies. Here we'll just show a list, but yeah, it's kind of just like a very similar idea, but you're not playing the zombie engine and you're doing more Ab Zero stuff. And Ab Zero is a really strong boss monster, but I think having that zombie core in your deck is just really value. I think like the synchro plays with Goblin Zombie are so crazy. But this deck can be crazy as well. It's another Dad Return deck, but I think as far as Dad Return decks go, Zombies are probably taking the cake between these two, but this is still a very strong build. Don't get me wrong. I mean, definitely, it has a fair deal of tops relative to how much people talk about it. I think Diva Hero, pretty solid one, pretty high conversion rate. So yeah, X-Sabers is trash. Yeah, I mean this deck never does anything. What are we really thinking for X-Sabers? Like, it's like down here maybe. Where do we think? Better than Gemini, worse than Gemini? I think it's actually just like worse than all of this. I don't know. Maybe better than, maybe like here, maybe just like in the middle of this tier somewhere. I don't know. I don't want to dwell on it too long. I just think X-Sabers are trash and they never really do anything. So it kind of confirms my bias there. So yeah, whatever. Not a great deck. Hero Beat. What do we got for Hero Beat? Speaking of decks that I think are not great, I'm going to downgrade this one even more, actually, because I just don't know. I feel like every time I play against Hero Beat, it's just like, well, this game will be easy. I don't know if other people get this feeling, but yeah, I mean, it topped a lot last year. It presumably topped some this year, but I haven't been seeing it nearly as much, and it's like never won ever. I think that turned out to be a real canary in the coal mine, like having the whole 0W situation. I'm going to put it the whole way down, just like bottom of tier 2. I think this deck is actually kind of trash. It's just like not scary whatsoever at all. So yeah, I'm fully just like Hero Beat sucks at this point. That's kind of where I'm leaning. Let me know what you think about that, but I've not been feeling Hero Beat whatsoever. Next up we got Amaryllis. which is a shame, actually, because I really like Hero Beat. Actually, it's weird. Most people think this deck is super lame and boring, and I can kind of see that. But I think the play style of Hero Beat is actually a lot of fun, weirdly enough. I know you might disagree with that. You might just think it's summon Stratos, get Alias, activate Gemspark, whatever. But I don't know. I find it to be quite like interactive and engaging playing against Hero Beat. But I don't know. The deck is just not quite on that level. It never really feels as unfair as a lot of the top tier decks. So yeah, it's going down here. What were we talking about? Amaryllis. Yeah, this deck has been popping off lately. And we've just got, okay, we got like Fraser's build with Miracle Fertilizer. I think the Miracle Fertilizer discovery was very solid for this deck. I've been trying it out a bit. I definitely like it. I also think the Shield Warrior tech that Dimitri came up with is quite legit. There's just been a lot of good innovation with this list lately that has really pushed it to the next level. In fact, I might even, how high do we dare put it? How high do we dare put it? I might be putting this kind of high. I'm just warning, I might be putting this kind of high. I might be putting it kind of where, not this high, surely. Where did I put it last time? I'm actually, on this one, I really want to consult where I put it last time. All right, upon consulting, it turns out I put it pretty darn high last time, too. So the deck must have already been kind of popping off when I did the last tier list. However, I think it's had some decent staying power as well, which makes me feel like I still want to put it even higher than I put it. So we actually are going to be really controversial, yet also brave, and put it the whole way up here. Yeah, I don't know. This is like the reverse Hero Beat for me. Just like anytime I'm going on ladder playing against Amaryllis, I'm like terrified. I'm just like always like really scared. They're just gonna like summon a Titanial like and start beating my face in, and then I'm getting low, and it feels like I can't win because they're bringing back the Amaryllis's. Yeah, I think Titanial is a really crazy boss monster. The spam with the Miracle Fertilizer has gotten super crazy. I don't know. I just think this, I mean, it's been getting results. It's been feeling like a substantial presence in the metagame, which I can't say for some of these other decks that I put on this list. So I'm putting Amaryllis super high. Maybe you disagree, but I don't know. Deck feels scary. Deck feels like it's everywhere. Deck feels like it's topping a fair deal. So, hey, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I think I'm gonna put it the whole way up here because honestly, I would rather play against like Zombies or Diva Hero or Dragon Turbo or whatever than like queue up into Amaryllis and just like, oh man, please don't open Lone Fire. Please don't open Lone Fire. Like, that's just what it feels like. I don't know. Really scary. Titanial is spooky. Deck is really quite strong, in my opinion. Next, finally, we will be ending on Boneless Fairies. I think this is just an inferior Farrier deck. They're like better Christia decks now. You know, play the Lightsworn version, play the Chaos version. Just, I guess you can play this version. You know, you're gonna need to have some spice or some technology or something, I think, to make it worth it. I do think it is probably still in tier 2, but I'm not putting it high. You can go above Hero Beat. You can have like the token better than Hero Beat. How about that? You know, so the two people still playing this regular ass fairy build, I get you can have this, but I don't know. I'm just not seeing why you would play like this like vanilla ass old fairy build when the newer ones are around. So yeah. Okay, that's the final deck on the list. That's going to round it out. It's going to conclude the video. Summarize my thoughts here. Frogs are the best deck. Amaryllis is crazy. Hero Beat is not that good. Machina, maybe getting up there. Zombies and Diva Hero and Blackwing is kind of about where I had them before. And, you know, all the sort of wacky rogue stuff is still wacky rogue stuff. If you want to try it, great. You might be able to do something, but, you know, if you want to win, better off playing a top-tier deck, of course. So, yeah. All right, hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one.